Mike Trout was considered the next greatest baseball player of all time, but quickly became a disappointing example of what could have been in only a few years. Trout was the face of the league for over 10 seasons, won 3 MVPs, 2 All-Star MVPs, and was always a healthy player for the Angels, only once ever getting surgery and injury in 2017 on his thumb. But after 2020, Mike Trout would become one of the most injury-ridden players in baseball, would no longer be the face of baseball, and has still never won a World Series in baseball. He's made 1 playoff appearance in his entire career, has been overshadowed by his former teammate Shohei Otani in popularity and performance, plus has missed a total of 249 games because of injury from 2021 to 2023. And going into 2024, Trout clearly was not himself, and came out of April with a torn left meniscus in his knee, to 3 months later re-tearing his left meniscus, which effectively ended his 2024 season. Mike Trout is a shell of his former self. In fact, prime Mike Trout was once described as the supernatural athlete by a Sports Illustrated magazine. Now, he's the complete opposite of that, and no one seems to understand why or how this happened so quickly.
What the hell are you doing to take care of yourself? Always injured. I mean, damn, it's baseball.
ESPN reporter Stephen A. Smith says that Mike Trout is not taking care of himself, while ESPN's Chris Russo would call the 2024 injury, quote, terrible luck. But the truth is, Mike Trout's consistent injury problems are a result of numerous factors. Beginning in 2017, Trout had his worst injury to date on a slide-stealing second base.
He is. The pitch is down low, and Trout picks up a stolen base, and it looks like he may have jammed his left hand, Gooby. Right away, he's showing it and moving his hand quickly. Like Sosha.
It began with him hitting the bag hard, bending his thumb the wrong way, resulting in his ligament giving out. But this injury would have no long-term effect on Trout, and he would return less than 2 months later to hit for a .285 average and hit 16 homers in 67 games. After this season, Mike would go on to win another MVP, and wouldn't suffer a major injury for another 4 years.
He started as a rookie, having one of the greatest, if not the greatest, age 20 season ever in baseball. And then same thing with age 21, 22, 23, 24. Every single year, he has one of the, if not the best season ever for a player his age. You know what that means? By the time you get to a certain age, you're the best player ever.
But Trout's next injury would completely change the trajectory of his professional career. The year was 2021. Mike Trout wasn't even 30 years old, and supposedly had years of baseball ahead of him. In 117 at-bats, he hit for a .333 average and over a 1,000 OPS. But on an ordinary play where he was simply running to third base, Mike looked visibly uncomfortable and would come out of the game. Afterwards, Mike Trout would receive awfully bad news.
Further testing reveals that Trout could be on the shelf for up to 2 months. Your initial reaction is what?
It sucks, that's it.
Trout was originally going to be missing 2 months of the season. Those 2 months would turn into 3, then 4 months. But he was facing setbacks, resulting in the Angels officially pulling the plug in his 2021 season, shutting him down for good in September. But 2022 would be the year that his career and his health situation changed forever.
The Angels star is diagnosed with a rare back condition, but says that he will still play this season.
A rare back injury that would linger for the rest of his career was terrifying.
Very nervous. I remember Don Mattingly was the best player in baseball, suffered his back injury. It was a different kind of injury, was never the same.
After this injury, Trout would suffer another major injury a year later, and another one the year after that. His age was clearly catching up to him, and his luck was no better. But before we get into Mike Trout's recent injury history and performance, there's one more component playing into Trout's injuries that we have to go back to the beginning of his career for.
Youngest in Major League Baseball right now, the 25th overall pick in 2009.
Mike Trout's debut was viewed as nothing short of significant. He had been drafted straight out of high school, skipped college, got called up into MLB straight out of AA, and was still only 20 years old. But he would really begin making national headlines in his first full season in 2012.
Woke up today, did you look at paper, see your tops in the AL and batting average at all?
Yeah, I seen that. I read up on that. So good stuff.
Headed into that 2012 season, AL rookie Mike Trout was not the one in the headlines. It was instead NL rookie Bryce Harper, who was considered at 16 years old to turn into baseball's version of LeBron. But by the end of the year, Trout was separated from Harper in nearly every offensive statistic. Harper would win National League Rookie of the Year, but Mike Trout was on a path to win the unanimous American League Rookie of the Year.
There was no question about Rookie of the Year. I wondered if anybody would not vote for Mike for Rookie of the Year.
Mike Trout's rookie year was nearly perfect, getting injured 0 times and winning the unanimous Rookie of the Year, an accomplishment that only 7 people had ever done before him. Defensively, he was on the brink of winning a Gold Glove that season, and was speedy on the base paths, earning what was a career high in stolen bases.
Situations. Trout takes off. The pitch is a strike and throw down by Jason. Not in time. That is stolen base number 49.
But unfortunately, his speed and defense wouldn't pay off into becoming a Gold Glove winner.
How surprised were you didn't win a Gold Glove? Do you think you deserved it?
Yeah, I don't want to take anything away from Jones. He deserved it as well. And, personally I did. I thought I would.
Some people believe that his defense that year was alone good enough to win him the MVP over third baseman Miguel Cabrera. Trout's win above replacement, which measures how valuable a player is to a team, was higher than any other player's WAR, including Cabrera, as Trout led with a 10.9 WAR. Trout had a higher stolen base percentage, higher on-base percentage, and saved more runs with his glove. But Cabrera had led Trout in batting average, homers, RBIs, and slugging percentage, all leading up to Trout losing the award and Cabrera winning it.
This is unbelievable, man. I'm so excited right now.
Cabrera won the MVP in 2012 and again in 2013 over Mike Trout. But after coming up short for the MVP award in back-to-back seasons, Mike was about to break baseball for years to come.
At the wall, gone!
Trout won the AL MVP and All-Star MVP in 2014. He would go on to win the All-Star MVP again in 2015, and then in 2016, he would win another AL MVP. And in 2019, he would win the AL MVP again.
Similar to last night's American League Cy Young balloting, 2 players were positioned first or second on all 30 ballots.
By the end of 2019, Mike Trout won a total of 53 awards in the span of his 8 career seasons. One article by author Sam Turner would call Trout the greatest baseball player of all time. And after his historic 2019, Trout earned what was at the time the largest extension in baseball history.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a beautiful day.
Mike Trout has, easily been the best player of this generation. He could go down, if he keeps this up, as the greatest player of all time.
But he could only be the best baseball player ever, which many thought he could do.
Is Trout worth it?
Yeah, he's probably going to outplay the contract. I think there's a really good chance that happens.
His 2020 season would also be another great year, hitting for a .993 OPS and a .281 batting average. But there were 2 things specifically that really stood out in the second half of Mike Trout's career. The first being his lack of postseason success. He's only ever appeared in 1 playoff series, where they were swept and Trout batted .83. He's never won a playoff game, and many have doubted his abilities in the postseason. But a few years ago, Mike Trout was an avid believer that the Angels could build a team around him.
The front office, they want to win. I know that. The coaching staff, everybody wants to win. But it is frustrating. You're going out there every day competing, and some games just falling off short. So it is tough.
After all, he saw the Angels aggressively sign one of baseball's best stars in 2011, Albert Pujols, to a 10-year, $240 million deal. In 2017, he saw them sign the future best player in baseball, the two-way star Shohei Otani. Some believed that Mike Trout and Shohei Otani could become the best duo in MLB history. It's clear that despite all the talent that has been put around Mike, there's been more bad than there has been good. Their team record since Trout's rookie year in 2012 is a disappointing 955 wins and 1,001 losses. Despite 3 league MVPs from Otani and multiple MVPs from Trout. But the Otani-Trout saga was nearing its conclusion in 2022, as Otani's contract with the Angels was about to come to an end. However, the team wasn't competitive in 2022, finishing with a record of 44-60 by the trade deadline, leading people to believe that Otani would be traded at the deadline.
If they are hesitant in signing Otani to a long-term extension, to me, I would think you might want to look into trading him.
As of 2022, it was projected that Shohei Otani would sign a $500 million deal, topping Mike Trout's once mega contract. But the Angels were never going to be paying Otani, so why not trade him? Why not get a franchise-changing prospect haul in return for Otani to help build a better team around Mike Trout? They would end up keeping Shohei and would win nothing in 2022, finishing with a record of 73-89, leaving 2023 to be Trout and Otani's very last dance, which was a very controversial decision. But shockingly, by the 2023 trade deadline, their season had been going very well, and things were looking up for the team. They were able to buy players at the trade deadline, including Lucas Giolito, Randall Grichuk, and CJ Cron. Their record was 56-52, and the Otani-Trout duo were on their way to making their first playoff appearance as teammates. But that magic and that path wasn't all sunshine and rainbows.
You see him kind of reach on that lower back there. That was interesting. That, now
I think it was
Trout.
hand or finger.
Or a hand
Wrist?
or finger. Okay, yeah, he's pointing his wrist now.
Trout was battling injuries all year. The trade deadline acquisitions were so bad that they literally got released a month before the season even ended. The team had a second half collapse and finished the season below 500 at 73-89, the same exact record as their 2022 season. But the difference between the two is that this one marked the end of an era.
Baseball superstar Shohei Otani is keeping his talents in Southern California, but he's moving just about 30 miles up the road, signing a record-breaking deal with the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Well, according to the Angels owner Arte Moreno, they didn't trade Otani because, quote, from a fan perspective, they pay tickets and watch games and listen to the games. This is a special guy. So now, the team is left with no Otani, an injured Mike Trout, and one of the worst futures in all of baseball. Altogether, Trout has had to completely change the way that he's played the sport in order to stay as healthy as possible.
And Mike Trout has evolved as a player, even though he's the same basic player. He came up, he stole a lot of bases and barely got caught. And as that kind of diminished...
His stolen bases by season were once towards the top of the league, stealing 49 bases in his first full year, 1 year stealing 33, but since 2020, his highest number of stolen bases has been 2, completely eliminating stolen bases and speed from his playing style. He has instead relied off of his glove and his bat to succeed in the league. But since 2020, he's had one season where he hit more than 20 homers and has had only 2 seasons where he's had more than 300 at-bats. While he has had success like his 2021 numbers, he's also taken a major step down over the last 2 years, hitting for an 856 OPS in 2023 and hitting for an 867 OPS in 2024. And it seems that he can't stay healthy no matter what he does. Some wonder if he will ever be his former self ever again.
Will we ever see the full complement of Mike Trout again? He's 32 years old.
32, yeah, he's still young.
Mike Trout is slightly older than Aaron Judge and Mookie Betts, 2 of the best players in baseball, both of whom are still in their prime. So how has the last 4 years affected Mike Trout's career? In many ways, it's been damaging, tragic, and unfortunate.
His career is ultimately going to get wasted away in Anaheim by the Angels, who simply cannot surround one of the best regular season players with enough talent to actually get him to the postseason.
But Mike doesn't become a free agent until 2031, establishing that he will be an Angel for life, barring a trade request. But he's been unwilling and disinterested in being traded from the Angels for quite a while now. Just last offseason, he said, quote, "I'm loyal. I want to win a championship here." Some wonder if his loyalty to the Angels has had a negative effect on his career and is a major reason for why he's never won a playoff game.
This is loyalty that I think is going to hurt his career if he ever wants to win a playoff game.
However, Trout was recently ranked as the 15th best player in baseball history according to an ESPN article in 2022, ahead of legends like Joe DiMaggio and even pitcher Roger Clemens. So despite everything, he's still considered a legend and a clear future first ballot Hall of Famer. And although Mike Trout is struggling right now, many other athletes are right now losing millions, and some are gaining millions due to an up-and-coming company that few baseball fans know about. So check out my deep dive on how Big League Advantage took millions from athletes like Tatis, but also gave millions to players you have never heard of.